I ever did.
Okay, but you just said, hey, we're moving forward and we're going.
Yeah, I showed back up a week later and we moved forward because...
And there was no plan B.
There was no plan B because my dad at the time, and he's been vocal about it, so I don't feel like I'm saying anything I'm not supposed to, but like what Reed's passing did to my mom and dad, like no parent, I don't wish that upon anyone. No. Like my dad had to go to rehab. I took him in Tampa. I remember driving him there, which I don't even know if we've ever publicly even talked about that. And my mom, like she lost her baby boy. I don't know. I didn't cope with it. I just threw myself into work and was just like, yeah.
What did NXT do for your development? We're going to get into Dusty, but just as far as the training aspect of it, you've been watching this your whole life. You don't know the names of a couple of these trainers or producers, but how did you take to that, and how did you respond, and what was the end product of NXT?
So NXT, first I showed up when Paige was like the next big thing. Like I just looked at her and my eyes got like super big because I was like, first of all, I was from Charlotte, North Carolina, and you have this girl that's like the anti-diva. I'm like, I want to be Paige. Like like she gets to be different. I'm just Ric Flair's daughter. So that like stuck with me. Then seeing her and Emma have the first takeover match. Yeah. I was like, damn, I want that to be me. Cause that's how, I mean, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but that's how competitive I am. I'm sitting in the back like, well, this ain't working for me. I'm ring announcing. And then I didn't necessarily learn from watching the matches of the women who came before me. I learned from the women that I was brought up with. Becky, Sasha, Bayley. Right. That was my group. And seeing and hearing their stories and their passion, I was like, well, how do I keep up with these guys? Like, they've been doing this. They know what they're doing. I'm just trying to catch up and play along and figure it all out. And that's why I'm here today, is from that competition breeds competition.
And I was going to go...
If that class wasn't that way, I don't know if I'd be here today.
And that's interesting because my next question was, you were there with a lot of future Hall of Famers. Yes. I think everybody you mentioned is probably going to be a Hall of Fame. You will too. We're down there in Orlando, and so you've kind of named them. Who did you gravitate towards that group, or was it just, it's going to become the Four Horsewomen? But
Sasha and I came in, and then like a month later, Sasha came in, and then they made Sarah Del Rey our head coach. Sarah was a huge part of why I am to where I am today.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
From an in-ring thing?
From an in-ring thing. Yeah, because like she'd been all over the world. And then Sarah, Norman Smiley, Ricky Steamboat was even there at that time, but I didn't really work with him. It was Sarah, Norman, Dusty. Like that was my group of who was working with me.
Right.
But I mean, Sasha and I were attached to the hip, and then Becky and I were attached to the hip. It just kind of like switched.
I mean,
we were all close at a given time.
And no matter who you stepped into the ring with, out of the people that we're talking about, you had tremendous chemistry.
Emma was my first match.
Yeah.
Like was it close to her too?
Yeah, but you and Sasha, and in 16 we're going to have a feud of the year. So y'all all worked very well together. But in the confines of NXT, going back to Dusty, I find it very interesting that he just took you right under his wing, because he was one of your dad's greatest opponents as a great pitcher. Here's one of you think about the Steamboat Flair matches, but Dusty and Ric Flair were just on the top of the card at so many events, and there was something about each of their characters that they brought out the best in each other. And if you will, as a Dusty has them the worst in each other, whoever's working heel. What did you take away, or what did Dusty help you with the most as far as promos go? And before you answer that, let me throw to a clip of you back in Florida from the early days, and you can speak to this, and we'll see where you're at now.
Some of you guys know me as Ashley Johnson. I grew up Ashley Flair. Kids called me Nature Girl. They wooed at me at every sporting event. I played almost every single sport since the moment I could walk. The one thing my coach has always said to me was, you're not the biggest, you're not the strongest.
Are you nervous here? Or are you at home
Sure,
talking in front of the people?
everybody.
Oh, I'm shaking.
Okay.
Shaking.
You know, when I got here on Monday, I grew up and I always felt like kids were like, what does your dad do for a living? He wrestles, it's fake, it doesn't hurt. I always went to my dad after school and I'd be like, Dad, I was like, these kids are making fun of me, the girls, the guys, and my dad would always say, just say, your dad's a wrestler and that's all. And I'm like, Dad, aren't you mad? Doesn't that make you mad? And he's like, no, it doesn't. But when I got here on Monday and I worked with all of you, I finally understood why he never had anything more to say than it doesn't matter. It's because what you guys do day in, day out, nobody understands. The physicalness of it, being away from home, your wives, your kids, your husbands, it's a lot. And I am so thankful that I've been a part of it my whole life. Yes, it's been hard. I promised when I walked in here I wasn't going to get emotional. But I want to be a part of it. I know this is kind of cliche, but I know wrestling isn't the 70s and the 80s anymore, and that's what I grew up with. I mean, I've watched so many Macho Man, Ric Flair, Sting, Lex Luger, Miss Elizabeth. I watched all those promos over and over and over, but what I like about it today is you guys see how much John Cena means to the kids. And that's my dream, is to help kids. They need role models. And that's what I want to do with the WWE. And I hope all of you give me a chance. I don't have a character yet or a promo. This is pretty much me, ruffles, ribbons, pearls. But I am looking forward to developing my own character. Thank you.
Pretty humble approach there. What do you think when you watch that back?
Well, Reed was the one watching the promos. So, I just wanted to be liked. I had a hard time not being liked. Because I wanted people to really, not think that I came in being Rick's daughter. That's always been, such a struggle. And even trying to explain that as a baby face, it comes across like I'm whining. I've tried that approach. I'm like, damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So that's been my own personal journey. Going well, no one else is going to apologize if they got an in. But I felt like I needed to apologize.
Yeah.
And that's taken me till maybe the last year and a half.
Right.
2 years to really be who cares? I wanted to be liked. I didn't have a tryout. But everything I said was true. And then the John Cena, that's how I saw, I wasn't coming in to be, I didn't have goals.
But
I wasn't coming in to go, I'm changing the game. I'm main eventing.
Right.
I'm this. The only goal that I saw that made sense for me was what he was doing because I was so lost.
Right.
So you gravitate towards what you're lost, right? So I wasn't coming in to go, I'm taking your spot. I'm changing. I didn't even know what independents were. Does that,
Right.
I didn't have anything to say. Sasha knew she wanted to come in and change the game. Becky had been in the business, left the business. Bailey had a name on the independents. I was just I hope you guys really like me because I'm not here to step on anyone's toes.
But you're coming in, you happen to be Ric Flair's daughter, and that's just the way it is. But you wanted to be liked and accepted by your peers as you, for you, and let your body of work that you were going to create speak for you. I mean,
Athletically.
Athletically. But yet, at a performance level, you or a competitive level within the booking of WWE, you tend to, and this is my estimation, tend to favor being a heel.
Well, yeah, because when I try to...
Am I correct in assuming that?
No, I will. Yes. Like, I just think I'm a natural heel.
Correct.
Like, there.
Yeah.
Do I think I'm relatable when you talk to me in person? Yes, but then it's not fun. Like, it's other than having like a father-daughter relationship and explaining that. If my dad wasn't Ric Flair, I could be relatable. When my dad's Ric Flair, what is relatable about that father-daughter duo? So when I try to explain, well, I felt uncomfortable in my skin, they're thinking, well, you were always like team captain.
Yeah.
Like, it comes across as whining. So
Right.
and then when I tried to do that a couple times in really awkward baby-faced roles, I'm like, why don't they like me? Why don't they like me? I'm watching, when I go back and watch it, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, it's taken me so long to learn the business and understand it. Like, why didn't I just go out, like, why did you're getting a reaction. If they're booing, why am I not going with that? Like, oh, if I could go back and do things over, I would.
Yeah, I would too on a couple things. But let's talk about a breakout match that's about to come down the road your way. And it's with another superstar who has a long lineage of professional wrestling in their family. It's with Natalya at NXT TakeOver. And Bret Hart, my guy Bret Hart, one of the greatest of all time. Your dad, the greatest of all time. It's a good look here. Are you feeling confident at this stage of the game?
No.
Okay.
I thought I was gonna.
Pretty good
My
night.
mouth was so dry for like the entire day. I was like, I don't know how. I've never had a match that long. Like,
You did a good job of faking it because
no. But I mean, I was in there with Natty. Like, she didn't have. Like, I felt very comfortable going out there. Like, at that time, I didn't. Like, I was just reacting to Natty.
Yeah. Does having your dad ringside bring any extra pressure on you? There at this
I don't
early
think
stage
I
of the
like
game?
really fathomed the pressure at that level. If that makes sense.
Are you thinking mechanics?
Yes, because even though you don't see it, I'm still like, when I backed up in the corner, that wasn't instinct. I'm thinking about it.
Right.
And when you're thinking about stuff, that doesn't work. Does that?
Yeah, well, you're thinking by numbers.
Yeah, and this was so good because Natty was like, just listen to me.
Yeah.
It was
okay.
Instinct. Like, yeah, we had.
Yeah.
We knew. Oh, did you see Brett's face on my terrible sharpshooter? I agree with you, Brett. I was like, how do I put this on?
When I would try to put the sharpshooter on Brett, I always was terrible at it. I never got it right to begin with.
Oh, he was like, what was that?
Okay, there you are, figure four. That comes naturally.
No, yeah, just nothing was. The emotion was just an emotional night. But I wasn't thinking like, how do I steal the show with my dad out there? I didn't think that way until they put him with me. Like, I know he's gonna try to steal the show. He's gonna try to take the spotlight.
Is that the showman in him or the competitiveness of him?
Both.
Okay. Kick out. There you go. Get off of me. Here we go. Who came up with that?
Sarah and Norman together, I think.
Yeah. Natural selection.
Yeah. Well, originally I wanted to do it off the and they were like, I can't remember who said it, but imagine doing that every night.
No, and nailing it.